Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Feeling good in the gym doesn't mean you're getting better. Some of the most satisfying movements, the ones that burn, pump, stretch, and make you feel productive, are asking almost nothing from your body. They give you sensation. They give you comfort. They give you the illusion of work. What they don't give you is progress. This video is about 18 exercises that feel good, but do absolutely nothing. Not because these movements are worthless in every context. They're not, but because the way most people use them turns them into comfort rituals instead of training tools. You show up, you do your arm circles, your endless crunches, your light kickbacks, and you leave feeling like something happened. But your body didn't get the signal it needed to adapt. No progressive overload. No real mechanical tension. No reason to change. Here's why this matters. Your nervous system is incredibly good at rewarding movement. Blood flow feels like growth. Burn feels like effort. Stretch feels like flexibility. But feelings lie. Adaptation doesn't care what you felt. It cares what you demanded. And when you confuse sensation with stimulus, you can spend years in the gym going nowhere. This is general training information, not medical advice. What follows are 18 exercises people love, and why loving them might be the problem. If you've ever wondered why certain movements feel amazing, but your body never changes, you're about to find out. Number 1, arm circles. Everyone's done them. You stand there, swing your arms in big loops, feel a mild burn creep into your shoulders, and think you're warming up properly. The joints feel loose. The delts feel activated. You've done something, except you haven't. Arm circles involve almost zero external resistance. The burn you feel isn't a growth signal. It's just time under tiny tension. Your nervous system registers movement. Blood flows to the area, and you interpret that as productive. But there's no meaningful load, no progressive challenge, and no reason for your shoulders to get stronger or bigger. You're rehearsing motion, not training tissue. The warmth is real. The stimulus isn't. Arm circles have a place. Brief movement prep before pressing days. A way to check that your shoulders feel okay. But people treat them like they're building something. They're not. If you want a warm-up that actually prepares your shoulders for work, try light banded external rotations with intent, control lateral raises, or a few ramp-up sets of your first press. Feeling loose isn't the same as being ready. And motion without resistance is just motion. Number 2, standing side bends with a dumbbell. Grab a light dumbbell, lean to the side, feel a stretch through your obliques, and convince yourself you're working your core. It's one of the most common exercises in any commercial gym and one of the least effective for building anything. Here's the problem. Most people turn this into a stretch disguised as strength. They go too light, too loose, and let gravity do the work. Instead of controlling the ribcage to pelvis relationship, they just bend to the lower back and call it training. The sensation is real, tightness relief, a mild pump along the side, but the demand is almost nothing. Your obliques don't need gentle side bending. They need anti-rotation, anti-lateral flexion, and loaded stability challenges to actually get stronger. Side bends can work if you use strict control, meaningful load, and intentional bracing. But that's not how people use them. They use them to feel like they did core work without doing anything hard. If you want lateral trunk strength that transfers to your big lifts, try suitcase carries, pal-off presses, or progress side planks. Stretching sideways while holding a dumbbell isn't training your obliques. It's massaging your ego. Number 3, machine hip abduction, high reps, light load. Sit down. Spread your legs against the pads. Feel the burn light up your outer glutes, and believe you're building better hips. This machine is a gym favorite for a reason. The burn is instant. The pump is satisfying, and it feels like your glutes are finally working. But for most people, it's a sensation machine, not a strength tool. The typical approach: light load, tiny range of motion, momentum-driven reps, and sets that chase fatigue instead of adaptation. You're creating burn without progressive overload. Your hip abductors might get warm, but they're not getting meaningfully stronger or bigger because the stimulus never increases. Same weight, same bounce, same outcome. Nothing. Here's the irony. Hip abductors matter for knee tracking and pelvis control during squats. The machine is often used by people avoiding squats entirely. If you actually want hip stability that transfers to real movement, try sideline hip abduction with strict form, cable hip abduction with controlled pauses, lateral step downs, or loaded carries. The machine has a place as target accessory work, but only if you progress the load, use full range, and stop treating it like a vending machine for feelings. Number 4. Wrist curls with tiny dumbbells. Pick up a 5-pound dumbbell. Curl your wrist up and down. Watch your forearm pump up, and assume you're building grip strength. It looks like direct work. It feels productive. But for most gym goers chasing stronger grip, it's solving the wrong problem. Here's what actually happens. Grip fails isometrically. When your deadlift slips or your pull-up gives out, it's because you couldn't hold a static contraction long enough. Wrist curls are dynamic flexion, a completely different demand. You're training your forearm muscles to shorten and lengthen through a small range with minimal load, while your real grip weakness is about sustained holding strength under heavy tension. Wrist curls also overemphasize flexors while ignoring extensors and overall hand stability. They create pump without carryover to actual pulling performance. If you already train grip seriously and want extra forearm hypertrophy, sure, throw them in. But if your grip is your limiting factor, farmers' carries, dead hangs, towel hangs, and heavy static holds will do more than endless wrist curls ever could. Don't mistake forearm fullness for functional strength. They're not the same thing. Number 5. Neck tilts with body weight only. Tilt your head side to side. Feel the tension release, and tell yourself you're strengthening your neck. If you work a desk job, this feels like medicine. The tightness fades. The discomfort eases. You've done something for your posture. Except you haven't built anything. Neck tilts with just body weight provide relief without resilience. They're gentle mobility work. Temporary tension reduction, not strength development. For your neck to actually get stronger and more resistant to fatigue and discomfort, it needs progressive load, just like any other muscle. Tilting your head back and forth doesn't provide that. It just makes you feel better for a few minutes. Here's the deeper issue. Neck discomfort is often driven by upper back position and rib cage posture, not neck weakness in isolation. People treat the symptom and ignore the driver. If you want a neck that handles life better, focus on upper back training, loaded carries that demand postural control, and controlled isometrics performed carefully over time. Stretching your neck feels good, but feeling good isn't the same as getting more resilient. Relief fades. Strength stays. Number 6. Standing calf raises with body weight, endless reps. Stand on a step, bounce up and down until your calves burn, and assume you're finally going to grow them. The pump is immediate. The fatigue is real. You can feel your calves working harder than they do all day. But here's what you're missing. Your calves work all day. Walking is constant low-load calf work. Your soleus and gastrocnemius are already adapted to your body weight over thousands of steps. When you do endless body weight calf raises, you're not providing a new stimulus. You're just giving them more what they already handle. Same load, same tempo, same response. Maintenance, not growth. Calves are notoriously stubborn because people train them with volume instead of progressive overload. If you want actual adaptation, you need to increase resistance over time. Loaded standing calf raises, seated calf raises to target the soleus, slow eccentrics, and pauses in the stretch position. Burning doesn't mean growing. Your calves already know how to handle body weight. Make them handle something heavier, or accept that your endless bouncing is just cardio for your ankles. The burn isn't the signal. The load is. Number 7, cable kickbacks, lightweight, swinging. Strap your ankle to a cable, kick back. Squeeze your glute, and watch yourself in the mirror doing what looks like targeted glute work. The burn is immediate. The squeeze feels powerful. You can feel your glutes firing. But if you're using light weight and momentum, you're mostly just performing. Cable kickbacks become useless when people prioritize sensation over tension. They swing through the rep, focus on the shortened squeeze, and ignore the lengthened position where muscles actually experience meaningful stretch under load. The result? Lots of burn, minimal mechanical tension, and zero progression. You're chasing a feeling instead of building tissue. Glutes often respond best to heavy compound patterns, hip thrusts, RDLs, Bulgarian split squats, plus a small amount of controlled isolation. Not isolation, only circus reps with momentum. Kickbacks can work as a light accessory for mind-muscle connection or finisher, but only if they're strict, controlled, and progressively loaded. If your cable kickback looks like a dance move, it's not training your glutes. It's training your ability to create burn without results. Squeeze is not stimulus. Number 8, crunches on the floor, fast reps. Drop to the floor, crunch up and down as fast as possible. Feel your abs burn and check off core work for the day. It's the most recognizable of exercise in existence and one of the most misused. Fast crunches shorten the range of motion, reduce time under tension, and shift effort toward momentum and hip flexors. You're bouncing through reps, not controlling them. The burn comes from fatigue, not from the kind of mechanical tension that drives actual adaptation. Your abs might feel worked, but they're not getting progressive stimulus they need to get stronger or more defined. Here's the reality. Many people can do 100 fast crunches and still collapse under a heavy squat because they never learned to brace. Crunches train spinal flexion. Lifting requires anti-extension and trunk stability under load. Different skills entirely. If you want abs that actually work for you, try wheel rollouts, hanging knee raises with pelvic control, weighted cable crunches done strictly, or carries. Controlled reps with intent beat flailing for volume every time. Doing more doesn't mean doing anything useful. Number 9, resistance band pull-aparts, no progression. Grab a light band. Pull it apart across your chest. Feel your upper back activate. And believe you're fixing your posture. The squeeze between your shoulder blades feels productive. The blood flow feels like progress. After a few sets, you feel like you've undone hours of desk slumping. The problem isn't the movement, it's the ritual. People do the same band, the same reps, and the same sets forever. No heavier band, no longer pauses, no track progression. It becomes a comfort habit, not training. Your muscles need progressive overload to adapt. If you never demand more, they never grow stronger. Posture isn't one muscle being weak. It's a habitual position reinforced by hours of your day, combined with overall strength and endurance. Pull-aparts can help as a warm-up tool, a shoulder health routine, or a between-set reset. But they won't change your posture alone. If you want real upper back development, try face pulls with measurable load, strict rows with pauses, or rear delt flies with intentional progression. Rituals feel productive. Training produces results. Know which one you're doing. Number 10, treadmill walking at the same speed every day. Step on the treadmill. Set the speed to the same number you always use. Walk for 30 minutes and feel like you've done your cardio. It's easy. It's comfortable. You can do it while watching a show. And your body has absolutely no reason to change. Cardio adaptation works exactly like strength training. If the stimulus never increases, the response stops. Walking at the same speed and incline every day becomes maintenance. Your cardiovascular system handles it comfortably, expends minimal effort beyond baseline, and preserves energy. You're not challenging it. You're just showing up. This doesn't mean walking is useless. It's great for daily activity, recovery, mental reset, and baseline health. But if you're expecting fat loss, improved endurance, or cardiovascular progress from the same flat treadmill walk you've done for 2 years, you're expecting change without demand. Try progressing incline or speed slowly, adding intervals occasionally, or tracking your heart rate response over time. Comfort is fine for recovery. It's terrible for adaptation. Your aerobic system needs progressive challenge, just like your muscles. Same input, same output. Number 11, very light lateral raises, 20 to 30 reps forever. Pick up the lightest dumbbells on the rack. Flap your arms for 30 reps. Feel the delt burn and assume you're building shoulders. The pump is addictive. The burn is immediate. Lightweight feels safe and controlled. And that's exactly why it stops working. Shoulders respond progressive overload like everything else. When you use the same light weight, with the same loose form, never approaching true failure, you're training endurance, not hypertrophy. The burn feels like effort, but your delts aren't receiving enough mechanical tension to grow. You're doing cardio for your shoulders. High rep lateral raises can work, but only if the sets are actually hard and technique stays consistent. The problem is the forever light, forever easy pattern. People settle into comfortable sets that feel productive but demand nothing. If you want shoulders that actually grow, progress the load over time, use cables for constant tension or add intensity techniques like control partials at the end of hard sets. Delts grow from boring, repeated, progressively harder work, not from random burn sets that look intense. Feeling your shoulders isn't the same as challenging them. Number 12, seated twists with a medicine ball. Sit on the floor, hold a medicine ball, twist side to side, and feel like you're training your obliques for rotation. It looks athletic. The burn comes fast. You're moving like a real athlete does. But most people perform this with momentum and spinal twisting, not controlled trunk rotation. They whip the ball back and forth, let their lower back do the turning, and call it core work. The result is fatigue without the kind of controlled anti-rotation strength that actually transfers to sports and lifting. Here's the disconnect. Many athletic movements and heavy lifts require resisting rotation, not creating it. Your core needs to stabilize against twisting forces, not just reduce endless spinning reps. Seated twists have a place for sport-specific rotation training when controlled and intentional, but most gym goers use them as a filler, chasing burn instead of building function. Try pal-off presses, cable anti-rotation holds, side planks, or loaded carries. People chase twisting for visible abs when the real change comes from lower body fat and better bracing strength. Spinning won't carve what discipline builds. Number 13, foam rolling as training. Spend 20 minutes on a foam roller before your workout. Feel every knot release and believe you've done real recovery work. Maybe you even count it as mobility training. The relief is immediate. The stiffness fades. You feel ready, but you haven't trained anything. Research suggests foam rolling can provide short-term improvements in range of motion and reduce perceived soreness without hurting performance. That makes it a useful tool, but it doesn't create progressive overload, doesn't strengthen tissue, and doesn't build anything. It changes how you feel, not how you perform. Foam rolling has a place as a warm-up tool, a recovery ritual, and a way to manage discomfort that helps you train consistently. Its biggest benefit might be compliance. If it makes you feel better and keeps you showing up, it's worth something. But rolling is not training. It's preparation or recovery. Mistaking it for work means you're spending energy on feeling good instead of getting better. If you want mobility that lasts, pair it with strength through full ranges of motion. Rolling loosens. Training builds. Know which one you're doing before you count it as progress. Number 14, TRX squats never progress. Grab the TRX straps. Lower yourself into a squat with full support and feel stable, safe, and confident. Depth is easy. Balance is an issue. You can do rep after rep without worrying about falling or failing. That's the point. And eventually, that's the problem. TRX squats are assistance training. The straps reduce load and challenge, making the movement accessible for beginners, deconditioned individuals, warm-ups, and deload days. But if you never progress beyond them, you're using assistance as avoidance. You're rehearsing movement without demanding adaptation. The support is supposed to disappear over time. That's what progression means, removing the crutch as you build capacity. If you've been doing TRX squats for a year with no plan to move on, you're not training your legs. You're practicing balance with a safety net. Progress to goblet squats, tempo squats, split squats, or leg presses with controlled depth. Challenge builds tissue. Comfort maintains it. Holding on to straps forever means you're holding yourself back. Number 15, glute bridges with no load. Lie on your back, thrust your hips up, squeeze your glutes and feel the activation. The pump is immediate. The mind-muscle connection is strong. You can practically feel your glutes waking up, but after the first few weeks of doing them, you've stopped building anything. Glute bridges without load are a learning tool, a way to establish the hip extension pattern and feel your glutes engage. Once that neural learning happens, bodyweight bridges no longer challenge the tissue. You're moving through a pattern that your body has already mastered. The squeeze feels good. The stimulus is gone. Your glutes aren't asleep. They don't need endless activation drills. They need meaningful force production. If you want glutes that grow, load them. Barbell hip thrusts, weighted glute bridges, single leg variations progress over time, RDLs, split squats. Activation is a stepping stone, not a destination. People get stuck in the warm-up phase forever, wondering why their glutes never change. You can't squeeze your way to growth. You have to demand it. Number 16, stationary bike on auto resistance. Hop on the bike, select an auto program. Let the machine decide how hard you work and zone out for 30 minutes. It feels like training because you're moving and sweating, but you've handed over the most important variable, effort, to an algorithm that keeps you comfortable. Auto resistance modes on most stationary bikes are designed to keep you in a safe middle zone. They adjust difficulty to prevent you from pushing too hard or too easy, which sounds smart until you realize that adaptation requires challenge. If the machine always keeps you comfortable, your cardiovascular system has no reason to improve. The bike becomes a trap precisely because it requires no thought. You show up, you pedal, you leave feeling like something happened. But progress requires intent. Manual resistance with planned progressions, intervals with tracked effort, or using RPE to push yourself deliberately. These create change. Auto modes create consistency without challenge. That's fine for recovery rides. It's useless for improvement. Don't outsource your effort to a machine that's optimized for comfort. Number 17, stretching between every set. Finish a hard set. Immediately drop into a deep stretch. Hold it for a minute and feel the tension melt away. It seems productive, improving mobility while resting, making the most of your time. But you might be undoing more than you're building. Stretching between sets can interrupt training density and focus. For some people, long, intense stretching before or between efforts temporarily reduces force output. You're trading potential strength in the next set for a feeling of looseness that might not serve the session. More importantly, constant stretching can become avoidance, a way to feel productive while giving yourself permission not to push the next set hard. Light mobility between sets can be fine, especially for chronically tight areas. But turning every rest period into a stretch session dilutes the training stimulus. You're here to lift, not to become a full-time stretcher. If mobility matters to you, dedicate a block after training. Use dynamic warm-ups before, and let your rest periods be actual rest. Stretching feels like progress. Sometimes it's just procrastination in spandex. Number 18, core circuits with no external load. Set a timer. Blast through flutter kicks, mountain climbers, bicycle crunches, and planks. Sweat everywhere. Feel your core on fire, and assume you build a stronger midsection. The fatigue is real. The workout looks intense. But intensity and adaptation aren't the same thing. Unloaded core circuits prioritize exhaustion over progressive tension. You're training your abs to endure high-speed movement, not to brace under load or resist rotation. The demands are completely different. A core that can survive 5 minutes of flutter kicks might still collapse on a heavy squat because it was never taught to stabilize against external force. Core circuits have a place for conditioning, general fitness, warm-ups, and movement variety. But if your goal is a stronger midsection for lifting, you need loaded carries, wheel rollouts, pal-off presses, heavy planks, and controlled hanging raises. Fatigue makes you feel accomplished. It doesn't make you stronger. The core you build in circuits is a fatigue core. The core you build under load is a useful one. Know the difference before you count exhaustion as progress. Comfort isn't the enemy. Every exercise on this list has a place somewhere. Warm-ups, recovery, learning, mental resets. The problem is when comfort becomes a strategy. When you show up, do what feels good, and leave thinking you trained. Progress rarely feels smooth. New movements are awkward. Heavier weights are uncomfortable. Pushing closer to failure doesn't feel relaxing. That's normal. Your body adapts to what challenges it, not to what soothes it. If your workout feels like self-care every single session, you're probably maintaining at best. The exercises on this list succeed at one thing. They make you feel like you're doing something. And sometimes that matters. Showing up, building habits, moving your body, but feeling productive and being productive are not the same. The difference between a workout that changes you and one that just passes time is progressive demand. Which one on this list surprised you? Drop it in the comments. If this reframed how you think about effort, subscribe for more breakdowns that challenge what the fitness industry sells as progress. Your body doesn't respond to feelings. It responds to signals. Send better ones.